All right, what's up with it, y'all? What's the damn deal? As y'all can see on the headline, the title rather, I'm gonna talk to y'all, holler at y'all about double entry accounting. All right, double entry accounting. You know, most people, business owners, most people really handle their own finances. You know what I mean? So I think this would really be something good. You know, I'd be struggling with what I want to get on live about, and I be struggling with, with the things that I really want to get up on, jump on here and say and talk about. But today we're gonna talk about double entry accounting, and that's basically where um, you got your debits, your debits posted on the left side and your credits on the right side of a ledger, and the total dollar amount of the debits and credits always need to balance. And that's pretty much what double entry accounting is. And one of the best softwares out there to be able to help you with managing your accounting is QuickBooks. QuickBooks is the best. It's easy, and it do a whole lot for you. And they also use double entry accounting. So it's just a few things when using double entry accounting that a business owner really need to know. All right, so I'm gonna just kind of go over some of those. So let's take your total assets, right? What are your total assets? Your total assets equal your liabilities plus your equity. All right, and that's just really a simple accounting equation that everybody need to know. Your total assets equal your liabilities plus your equity, and basically the assets are what? Pretty much all the things that your company own. Any property, cash, inventory, any accounts receivables, any equipment that allows you to produce a future benefit. Basically, that's what the assets are. Your liabilities are basically any obligations that your company must pay, stuff like your lease payments, any merchant accounts or vendor accounts you got, any accounts payable, or any other debts that the company owe. And then your equity is basically the portion of the company that actually belong to you. Um, so, if you got shareholders or a couple other people on board, then your stockholders' equity fall into that category. And that's your basic balance sheet equation. The dollar amount of assets on the left side of the equation must equal the sum of liabilities and equity on the right side of the equation. And all of this go in line with the double entry accounting. All right, so net income, what's your net income? Your net income is basically your revenue minus your expenses. That's basically it. Your revenue minus your expenses. And what are your revenues? That's basically the sales or any other type of positive cash inflow that come into your business. And of course, expenses are just the costs incurred to generate revenue. And basically, by subtracting your revenue from your expenses, you calculate your net income. And it's just that simple. And that's the money that you've earned at the end of the day. And it's possible that the number would, it could possibly show a net loss when your business is in the early stages, in the very beginning. The ultimate goal of most any business, or really of any business, should be positive net income, which means that your business is profitable. All right. So another one is the break even point. The break even point is basically your sales minus fixed costs minus variable costs equals zero profit. And the fixed costs are basically any recurring costs, predictable costs that you have to pay to do business, which can include like insurance premiums, rent, if you pay any employees, that sort of thing. And then your sales is basically the sales prices that you charge multiplied by whatever it is you sell and however many units of whatever it is you're selling. And the variable cost is just basically any cost type of cost that you incur that fluctuate based on the number of units produced or sold. So let's say if you're selling fragrances or oils and you produce 20, but if you produce 50, then that means you're gonna have to use more products. So, so those are just variable costs. You may have to use more products, you may have to use more supplies. The cost of that will go up. And so basically the break even point tells you basically how much you need to sell to cover all your costs and to generate a profit of zero. And then everything above that $0 is profit, is all profit. So that's kind of the point of the break even point formula. And then you got another one is cash ratio. And what's cash ratio? Cash ratio is basically your cash divided by any current liabilities that you have. And the higher the number, then the better off you are financially. And so, what's cash? So it's the amount of cash that you have at your disposal. In actual cash or cash equivalents, anything that's liquid, such as any highly invested liquid securities, anything that you can flip and turn to cash, pretty much. Current liabilities is just the current debts that the business has incurred. And once you do this ratio, see that ratio is going to give you a good idea of how much money you actually have on hand, and it's also going to show how good your business is doing. The higher the ratio, the better off you are. All right. So another good thing to know is your profit margin. How do you determine and figure out what your profit margin is? All right. So, what is the profit margin? Your profit margin is basically your net income divided by your sales. Okay, so your net income is basically the total amount of money that your business have made after you deduct your expenses. And the sales refers to the operating revenue that you generate from business activities, how much bread you make. And once you divide your net income by your sales, then you get your profit margin. And the profit margin gonna let you know the net income earned on each dollar of sales. And a high profit margin will indicate that you're doing good. And if you got a low profit margin, it can indicate that you're not handling expenses too well. So all of these things and all of these equations, giving you a snapshot into your business. And basically, these are things that as business owners and handling our own finances and our own cash flow that we really need to know. And that's another good thing is a lot of these things you can see on the screen over at Pickup Game University, we have accounting information, accounting courses that is giving up all of this game. It's giving up all of this information, and all you got to do is subscribe. It's $29.99 a month, and you have access to all of this information plus a ton of other information as well. Plus a ton of other information as well. As you can see, right now it's a total of 22 courses. All right, total of 22 courses, but I'm adding more and more. Once I start getting people enrolled and subscribing, and then I have a ton more courses to add as well. All right, but back to the business. All right, so like I was saying, when you divide your net income by your sales, you get your profit margin. All right. And remember that the net income is made up of your total revenue minus your expenses. And that's pretty much it. If you got a high sales revenue, but still got a low profit margin, it may take a time to look at the numbers. You know what I mean? Check your numbers out. All right. So another one is your debt to equity ratio. All right. And so your debt to equity ratio are your total liabilities divided by your total equity. So your total liability is going to include all the costs that you got to pay to any outside vendors, anybody from the outside, such as any account payable balances, any interest on any loans, principal payments on any loans or debt that you have. And your total equity is how much of the company actually belongs to you. All right. So basically, it's the amount of money that the owner has invested, basically all the money that you done put into your own company, basically. So a high debt to equity ratio illustrate that a high proportion of your company's finances come from issuing debt rather than issuing stock to shareholders. And with that, from that perspective, either you're running or managing a corporation or you have an LLC and you're managing it as a corporation. When it comes down to your debt equity ratio and basically comparing it to whether you're issuing debt or you're issuing stock, And if you're attempting to secure more financing or maybe looking for investors, then a high debt to equity ratio could make it a little difficult to find people to really invest in your shit. And so another formula is cost of goods sold. And when we're talking about cost of goods sold, we're talking about your beginning inventory, what you started with, plus the cost of purchasing new inventory minus the ending inventory. So basically, the beginning inventory is how much inventory you have on hand at the beginning of a period, right? So if you're doing, quarterly, and you're doing your checking out your cost of goods sold from a previous quarter. So at the beginning of that period, and the cost of purchasing new inventory is basically the amount of money that your company has to spend, basically to get what you need to make your products. And your ending inventory is the product that you have at the end of the period, what you got left over. And so it's a simple equation. It allows you to determine how much you spent to manufacture the goods sold, basically by subtracting the cost of the goods sold from the money that you made. And that'll give you your gross profit margin. All right. And so the retained earnings equation, and that's another one for basically companies that's managing their company as a corporation. If you're managing your business as a C corporation or a LLC, electing to be taxed as a C corporation. So we'll just kind of leave that one alone. Retained earnings is another one that's really kind of use that one for, when I'm teaching the LLC courses or if I'm giving out information on that. All right. So I just kind of wanted to go over some basic accounting techniques. I know a lot of people managing their own finances, and I know a lot of people are, paying it on their own taxes, filing a 1040, that sort of thing. So I just wanted to pass those jewels on. You know what I mean? Be sure to go and visit Pickup Game University .com and go subscribe. All of the things that I was just talking about are in these courses. This is the type of information that you need. You should always have it on hand, and you can learn it at your very own pace. So go check that out. And another thing that I want y'all to check out is for business owners that are just getting started, and you need a website. Go check out pubwebhosting.com. I'm about to pull the page up right now. Go check out pubwebhosting.com. I do offer web hosting, websites. Go check out my website builder. I got a do-it-yourself website builder, as well as WordPress. A couple of different options under the website builder and WordPress. And another big one is the email. Say a lot of y'all got to get rid of the free email. Get rid of it. Get rid of the free email, y'all. It's very reasonable to get a professional email that matches your company name and your domain. It is very easy. All you have to do here is search for your domain and then get your professional email. Or if you already have a domain, I can still offer you email services. All right, I'm gonna show you how reasonable it is. $6.99 per month for individual, $8.99 per month if you got a team. And that little $6.99 a month does so much for your company and for your branding and for a lot of other things, especially even if you're into getting different vendor accounts, net 30 accounts, credit, business credit, true business credit. Having a professional email is one of the things that the underwriters look at for those that's giving you money, and that's fronting you the money up front. Having that professional email gives you that professional look. And also, another tip and another thing, I don't offer these services, but get you a virtual office. Some of these virtual offices are $9.99 a month, and it gives you an address. And these addresses through the virtual offices, they are legitimate. Companies, whenever you're doing business or you're applying for business credit, it gives you, especially if you're operating your business from home, and you don't have that front, you can always have your corporate office. You know what I mean? And so that's another thing for LLCs that's operating as corporations or corporations outright. But you could do that also for if you're operating as a sole proprietor, to just prepare when you get ready to make that jump. Once you get the right information, once you learn how much more beneficial operating an LLC as a corporation is than any other business structure. Once you realize that concept and you go that route, then you'll already be ready. Even with the double entry accounting or the double entry bookkeeping that we initially started talking about. So go to Pickup Game University, go enroll in some of the courses. It's really reasonable, $29.99 a month. Subscribe, and then but you get access to a ton of courses, collegiate level courses that get you ready for the big leagues. Because even if you're operating a small business, you still want to know the information because you can be a single person running your LLC as a corporation, and you can act as the secretary, the CEO, the president, all of these different personas legally. That's just one of the perks of managing your company that way. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm in the live, and y'all go check those out. Go get your professional email. Go to pugwebhosting.com. That's www.pug, like in the dog, webhosting.com. If you should be able to see the browser, um, you should be able to see it up there in the browser up here. All right. Y'all fool with me. You ain't even got to be cool with me. Just fool with me. Go and also go like you see the little blue bar scrolling at the bottom. Go to Pickup Game University. I got a YouTube channel. Go like and subscribe over there. I should be streaming from there. I also should be streaming from my Pickup Game University page, and I also should be streaming from my Ernest Banks page. So if you're on any one of those pages or platforms and you happen to see this, go run over to pickupgameuniversity.com, go enroll. $29.99 a month. I don't even think it's about up there with the Netflix subscription, but you're getting a ton of knowledge that's going to help take your company places. Go and follow me at Pickup Game University. And if you need a website, if you know somebody that need a website, even if you need, I also had go to researchdesignagency.com as well. You can send me an email or you can inbox me if you need somebody to do a website for you. I do that as well. So I'm a graphic designer. I do logos. If you need anything else, company apparel. I've got a corporate company apparel program over there at researchdesignagency.com. I guess I'll start sharing that information too. But I'm for to start going live all the time every day. I am. I got to do this, man. I've been procrastinating. I've been doing this shit since 2016. You know what I mean? And I don't watch people, start it, be consistent with it, pop it off, and within a year's time, man, they're looking good. So the online business really is where it is. Face to face is good. I'm good face to face. Face to face, I'm gonna knock it out the park. You know what I mean? But talking to this computer screen when ain't nobody there, I got to get used to that. That's one of the things that's been keeping me away and keeping me from going live every day. It's just, talking to this computer screen. Now, once I start getting interaction, probably, and I have a comment section in the chat room open up and we chopping it up, then I probably like that. I probably shit, probably what I probably live on this motherfucker then. But until then, it's a little tough just talking to the screen and doing all of that. I'm gonna just be real and raw with everything. I'm gonna just give it all I got. Just be me. I ain't finna do no scripts. I ain't finna do none of that. If I got some information that I'm gonna read to y'all gonna know I'm reading to y'all. Most of it, a lot of it gonna come off the top of the dome from information that I've studied, that I've read. At some point, I'll start dropping links and information from some of the law books that I read. I'm gonna give y'all, when I get this game up to y'all, I'm gonna give it all the way up on everything that I'm talking about. So with that being said, keep it 1,000. Pursue your dreams, follow your dreams. Don't let nobody tell you what you can and what you cannot do. Be the best at what you do. Be consistent, be thorough, be honest, be fair, be good, be kind, be loving, be willing, and be very interested in your own success. With all of that being said, peace. Fool with me.